Hey everyone, welcome to this week's call. I know,
Hey,
eh? How you
welcome
doing?
everyone.
Cool. Awesome. Well, welcome
Long
to this
time
week's
no see.
call. Yeah, yeah, it's been about a full day.
I know, like not quite 24 hours.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, cool. Awesome. Does anyone have any initial questions? Just jumping in.
I have a really dumb question.
What you
I'm
got?
just gonna get it out of the way.
No worries. No dumb questions.
It's so dumb. It's such an old lady question. Um, when you're making a TikTok,
Mhm.
which I am trying and coming along, how do you get rid of the sound in the background on your video and just have the sound that you want to put on it, the voiceover?
Yeah, so the music that you're talking about adding?
No, so like if I'm unboxing a video, a
Uh-huh.
box, picture the sounds of like the paper ruffling and
hmm
like my dog's nails on the floor in the background. How do I get rid of that? So that the only sound on there is the voiceover I'm going to record later.
Yeah, that should be at the very top after you record the video, and there should be a bar that has the sound to where then you can click on that and you can switch to another sound, or you can remove the original sound from the video.
Okay.
And yeah, it should be
Brenda,
like
did you
just as you're filming.
film it on your phone separate
Like see
from
the
the what's it? Oh, wait.
Where did you film it? Okay.
Like like I was saying, did you use your phone to film it or did you film it in the TikTok app? Because I like when I make my stuff and then upload it, I can't get rid of the sound on the desktop version. But when I'm in and I use the edit feature on the app on my phone, then that there's like a little place where you can, I think there's a little place in there that you can do it, and I'll like look into send you a
Mhm.
screenshot or something. But or you can delete it
best.
in Canva if you're like doing all your kind of like making it look nice in Canva, you can actually turn the sound off for
I'm
for that
trying to
too.
be more
Yeah,
authentic and just record them with my phone and put them on. Okay,
smart.
fine. So because I was taking forever, like, and I'm
Mhm.
just trying to just be more like, this is the video, people. But I got it. I'm like, there's got to be a way to get rid of that sound.
Do you do it in the app on TikTok? Because there is, when you edit it, you can click on the original video and then click on volume and then just zoom it
Mhm.
down.
Mhm.
Okay, okay, I should do that. I know I may look like I'm in my 40s, but technologically I'm in my 70s.
Yeah, that's smart though. Just having that consistency of just uploading the video after making it, just
Mhm.
very, very authentic. That's great.
It's a lot easier. Like there are only
Yeah,
so many hours in the day.
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Cool. That's a great question. Anyone else have any other questions going through ads or anything like that?
Um, is the geolocation thing
Mhm.
still something that you're adding to as an app when you're setting up the store? Like it was on the first one, and then when I
Uh-huh.
duplicated it, it wasn't, but I didn't have it, and I can't find one that like the icon looks exactly the same.
Yeah,
And I wasn't sure if we actually still needed it or not.
I believe they removed that. Ella, did you say you saw?
Yeah, they did change it to it's like a different app. I'm forgetting it's not exactly called like geolocation. There's a couple others though that are
Mhm.
like built for Shopify that you can use along with that. Let me just go ahead and see on my end which one what it's called again. I can just look at the store real quick.
Yeah, because those should be free.
Should I delete the one that I have then if they're like it's still showing up as an app in the first um
Yeah.
store, but obviously I couldn't find it to get it added to the second store. There's one that's like geolocation orb, maybe.
Yes, that's
And
Is that it?
geolocation
okay.
orb. Yeah, that one's built for Shopify and it has a free plan.
So
It's
should
got
I
great reviews
put it
too,
up
but
on both sites then and then take the other one off the first site or the old one off the first site?
Yeah, that would be smart. If it's the same
Okay.
app, let me you said it was the same app, Ella?
It's called geolocation orb.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, then I would definitely just switch to that one.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as they do the same thing, it's just switching around the IP address.
Okay. Okay, if anybody else doesn't have another question, but um, with the new store, I don't have a welcome discount. Like, is that
Mhm.
something where it's fine, you just have it on the original store and the new one, you don't worry about it with it, or no?
For Klaviyo,
Yeah,
I would just worry about it
Okay.
on the original store.
perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Cameron, can you just talk a little bit about right now, what sorts of scenes from books you're seeing converting really well in ad copy? And also, can you talk about what kind of length you think is converting well on ad copy, like shorter, longer, medium, or a mix?
Yeah, so I would say when you're launching up the new campaigns, and I know we've been talking a little bit about the new campaign structure where you can launch up a few different ad sets. And so when it comes to that, I would say copy between the ranges of like 150 to 200 words, aiming to stay around there. And then also it's really important to where like I see a lot of people where they grab ad copy, and this is a really easy way to grab ad copy where it starts out with a really strong piece of dialogue of like, what are you doing here? Or something like that, where it hooks attention. And you want to start using that piece of dialogue as the ad copy, but it's actually smarter if you can kind of set the scene and build the tension between the characters before that piece of dialogue, and then it leads into that. And so that's honestly what I would say right now in terms of just being able to find, because you could just find a scene and then that's your scene, and then you could just switch up the hook at the beginning to get them into that scene. Because it's really just about how easy it is to read, how much does it build the tension, and is there any confusion? Because the more confusion, the less likely it is to work. And so that's the main thing I would say, is just that as least amount of confusion, just setting the premise for what's happening in the scene and then diving into a strong scene, and then using that newer strategy just so we could test out a few different scenes at once.
Okay, so a couple of things that I've seen convert well, not just with myself, but with other authors, are
Yeah.
things she runs into the bar
Mhm.
and her horrible ex is chasing her. Do you find that like the higher stakes scenes, or the more like physical tension between two characters in a
Yes.
romance sense are
100%. Yep.
okay?
It's
Okay.
but there is a point to where like you can get too extreme with the situation to where it's unbelievable, and then it's like they drop off. But the bar scene is such a good example because it's like that's something that could easily happen in real life. And so
Right. And it leaves you wondering like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? So
exactly.
I'm trying to write all my ad copy, hoping to leave the reader I have to know what happens next.
Yes, and I would always leave them still on from in that case, like with the bar situation, from his POV, because then you're leaving on like still that protective hero trope, especially if your books have that, like leveraging that part. And
Okay.
ending it there. I wouldn't end it on like you'll never guess what happened next. We've tried to scale that and it doesn't work as well. Typically, if you just give it to them, it's much more likely to scale.
Okay, so
Mhm.
other than protective hero, are there any tropes that you're seeing work really, really well?
Yeah, tons. Here, let me grab.
Yeah, and I think Brenda, right now, our top performing ad copy is that protective hero, and it's working
is.
very well for you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's
And
really
that's
interesting.
yeah, that's the thing too, is that we've after looking at practically all the ad copy, I would say pretty much all of them contain some aspect of protective hero,
Okay.
I would say. And at least the ones that have been able to scale to like 500 plus, because like we're talking about the Venn diagram of like, is this going to relate with this group of people? the protective hero just kind of it really works with everything. And then you can kind of use your like sub or like more niche down tropes still in there to like pull in that right reader. It just may not be able to scale as far if it's got a niche down trope.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, let me grab, I know I have this ad copy here. Yeah, bad boy romance, protective hero, alpha male protector. Yeah, I mean, after looking at a lot of them, it's a lot of it's protector, and then you can have like protector and hockey, like with what you have, to where then you sort of shrink the Venn diagram, but it's still a really big Venn diagram of people that you can reach. Jealousy trope,
Yeah.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know we've done that. Dominique and
I was gonna say too, like almost the trope of like um the guy having the soft spot for the girl, like it's a bad boy, but
yes.
almost that type of trope too can work pretty well.
Mhm.
Do you ever see any that do well that are not her POV ending on his dialogue hook?
Mhm.
Like, do you ever have any that are doing well with the guy being in the guy's POV? Or
Yes,
Yeah.
less have been tested, so less have worked.
Right.
But it still has worked in the past. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can even try that as like a variation for a scene that you're testing. I would definitely test out like the male POV because we've seen it work pretty well
Yeah.
With
lately.
something like that, would you still end on his dialogue as the hook, or would you like switch it and have it end with hers? Or like, I don't know. What do you?
It would have to be case by case, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it, yeah, in some cases it would work. I mean, I know if you look at Kelsey Ray's ad library,
Mm-hmm.
she has a couple in there from his
Oh.
POV. And they were longer, a little bit longer formats. Yeah, it's definitely worked in the past. Yeah, it like with the jealousy trope too, it's really just trying to think about your reader. Like, would your reader be interested in something like this? Because it's not like would they be interested or would they not be interested? It's like how much would they be interested in this piece of copy? Like if they were a 10 out of 10, maybe it can scale to 2,000 per day. But if it's only like 5 out of 10, maybe it's only going to scale to like 200 per day. And so if everything is really revolving down to like how involved can we get the reader into this ad copy, it's got to start by like starting it out very simply and setting the scene of like what's actually happening. Because right when there's confusion, if there's any confusion, they're immediately off. They're going to leave. That's why we've typically seen whenever you start out with a piece of dialogue that jumps directly into a scene, it can work really well initially, but when you start to scale it, it doesn't work as well, just because Facebook is seeing you're putting a lot of confusion out there because people are clicking on this, they're clicking on the see more. There's a lot of dialogue. Some are reading it, some are not. And so when you have that simple, like 150 to 200 words, where it sets the scene, builds the tension between the characters realistically, and not using too high of what is it, the reading language or writing language, trying to use a little bit lower, but like still in the right instances, you can use higher. But just trying to keep things simple to where like in their mind, it's the easiest thing to read and they're just getting what the story is about. Yeah. And so I would say any tropes would work. That's where I would just look for more bulk content and trying to get out different scenes and different ad sets and testing them out.
With like, kind of also just out of curiosity, like how much hinting at the heat, like how much do you
Yeah.
do you really want to stay away from that, or do you want to like play up the tension without like I know there's that line where there's like, don't tell me this. This is not family friendly if you're like describing too much. I mean, obviously not like
Yeah.
graphic description, but like even just like, when I was like trying to put some copy together last time, I was like, well, these are like a couple of pretty like
Mhm.
sizzly kind of lines that are not actually like explicit in themselves, but they are very like clearly like this is about making out or
Yeah.
something, and I'm like, and I don't know whether that's like you end up losing audience, or like it won't share it if it can tell that you've got that, or I
Mhm.
don't know. I'm like curious about that.
Yeah, so I try to think about it in the terms of how Facebook is thinking about it. So like kissing, very normal, very like socially acceptable. They're not really gonna typically get mad about something like that. All of our
Uh-huh.
top scenes have had like, or not all of them have had kissing, because there's the one with Anne Marie Meyer where um the what are you doing holding my daughter in the same room? That one was more protective hero. That one worked really well. Anything protective, um, and yeah, it's because there's some situations where like Renee Rose, she's a great example where she writes very steamy books and they're doing great and they're scaling. But it's very obvious in the creative that it's steamy. That's where it's like it's told immediately. Um, and yeah, when you get like too steamy, that's where it can kind of be a problem. So it's trying to balance
Yeah.
out in that middle to where like I would include kissing, um, anything that's just very socially acceptable, I'd include that. And then let the images and the graphics, um, those tell kind of the steamy, like the level of heat that are in the books.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Kind of on that same subject, last week on our call, Ella and I were looking at Kelsey Stulting's, I don't know if it was Kelsey Haas or
Mhm.
Kelsey Stulting.
Hmm.
But she's really clever on her TikTok in that I think her top 3 pinned posts have her answering the most common 3 questions we always get from readers, which
Mhm.
are things like, what is the spice level? I can't remember the other 2.
I think one
But
was reading order too, yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, I would
Mhm.
like to get more, I guess, forward with, that's a question I get a lot is what is the heat level? How can I put that out there?
Yep.
Because I think more readers want high heat than not. I'm busy, buddy. I think more readers want high heat than not. So how do we convey that without, do you think it's good to just say it, or what are recommended ways to let people know so that, because a lot of people just aren't going to ask. They're going to be like, well, I don't know the answer to this question, so never mind.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the time the scene can give away the like the heat level. If it doesn't though, you can put it underneath in the offer because it's one
Like
of
with
those
chili
things.
peppers as emojis.
Yeah, exactly. You rate it like 8 out of 10 or 9 out of
Okay.
10, and then give like in parentheses next to it like a few open door scenes, whatever the actual scenes are, just so they have an idea.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's again with the confusion piece that plays into that formula is like, are they confused? They don't know the
Mhm.
heat level. They're not going to buy. So it's
Sometimes too, it'll come up in the comments and if you respond to those too and just put it
yes.
there. That's also a
Right.
good way to have it, but
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and with this new campaign structure that we can start to include videos like that into this campaign. They may not get as much spend, but the goal is for those people that maybe have been to your store and they didn't know the heat level, they can start getting retargeted with ads like that to start bringing them down the funnel.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you're talking about like videos and ads, are you talking about for TikTok, or are you talking about on Facebook?
Facebook. Yep.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Heat level stuff on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Brenda, I would also say too, I know that like if you've ever checked out Anne Marie's Instagram, she has tag posts at the top of her Instagram too that show like the frequently asked questions or reading order, stuff like that. So that's also some place that you could put it as well, especially because the ads are going to be coming from your page.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not consistent about this, but you know that the copy that we tag onto the end of every ad that says, find out what happens
Mhm.
next by reading X book.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll put in, check out the rest of this steamy, brother's best friend hockey romance. And maybe I should be more consistent about including heat level in
Yeah.
that section.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not that everybody makes it there and reads it, but at least it would help with some of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's sorry, I'll go ahead and what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say we could definitely test that out on some of them.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is one thing we just recently, very recently started testing is a little bit shorter of an offer. And
Wow.
instead of having it as like that, those blocks of text of like buy direct, shop now, click the added cart, just having it as like short sentences of like the reviews, heat level is a great one. And just giving all the info that they would need about the book because a lot of people have bought direct at this point, and so they know how the whole process goes. I mean, there's been well over millions sold at this point, and so there's a lot of readers are used to that now at this point, and so I would look to try to shorten it and just include the most important things about your book specifically too. Another one is length that we're also looking at, because some readers do have questions about the length of the book too.
Yeah, and that's hard because I think in terms of word count,
Yeah.
and they don't.
Mhm.
So, and you can't say chapters and pages can be kind of different at
Mhm.
different vendors too. So, I usually just say full length novel.
Yeah, that would tell it. Yeah, great question. Anyone else have any other questions? Ads, copy, anything like that?
I have a similar question. I just
Yeah, yeah.
wondered if you could give us some ideas of what you're seeing in terms of videos. Like when you make your videos on Canva, sometimes I'll use like rain as backgrounds and that's done well. Do you have any ideas to throw out there just for background footage topics that we can search for?
Background footage, before searching, I would try to take it yourself. That would be the main thing. Like
Bill?
I literally
I was hoping that would change.
yeah. Well, the thing is like I had a call with an author last night that just joined and I was like, we need a background video for this video, and we couldn't find one. And so she literally went out in her backyard, filmed her pool, and just like did like a side,
Mhm.
and it was great. That's all that we needed because it doesn't have to necessarily do with anything with the video. That's why the hot cocoa bombs and things like that work.
Yeah.
It's really just the text. So I would recommend just taking a bunch of videos and then you have like 30 or 40, and it doesn't really matter what the background is. Like if you have a bad background with good text, as long as it's not distracting, it'll still work.
And Ella gave me on our call this morning what I
Mhm.
think is a really good idea to take my most high converting ad copy
Mhm.
and use that as my voiceover
Yes.
on my TikToks and videos. So
Yep.
I'm excited to try that. And the background doesn't necessarily have to match. Like you could do a walk in the woods or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've seen all different types of backgrounds work. Yeah.
Yeah, because typically when you have good ad copy on over it, it's the background almost just becomes kind of like a subconscious thing
Mhm.
that they're seeing, and but they're really focusing on the ad copy. So
Yeah.
And is it okay? I know in TikTok, I'll see some people, they'll do a voiceover and the words are also coming up on the screen.
Yes, that has
Do
worked
you think
really
it's
well.
okay to not have the words, or do you think it's better to have the words?
I think it's better most of the time to have the words,
Mhm.
just as an extra addition. I've always seen videos where they have voiceovers and people will say like captions or something like that in the comments. So I think it's good because a lot of people subconsciously also read it while they're listening to it at the same time
Yeah.
to really comprehend it. So
And is that something that you can either do yourself or AI can do for you? Because I think I had AI
TikTok
do
should.
a TikTok last week and in my voice, I said a one sit read, like SIT.
uh-huh.
And in text, it said one like SIP, like you're sipping from a cup.
Oh.
Called it a one sip read.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, like, should I have done that manually myself instead of
You
the,
can. I know that if you're like editing, have you used CapCut at all? Do you have the
I'm,
app?
I'm trying. Yeah,
There's a section that allows you to do auto captions. You might have to go
Mhm.
through it like one time just to make sure that they're
I
all
think that's
correct.
actually, I think that's actually what I was using.
Yeah,
And then you go through
sometimes
it and check.
just go through it and
Oh.
check like one time so that it pulls in the right words because sometimes it's gonna pick something else up,
Mhm.
Okay.
which just happens. But yeah, you can just go through it one time and like edit if there's a word that's wrong.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, those like following, you're talking about the following captions as you're talking, like they show up as you go along.
Right, like,
Yeah, those can work really well. Mhm.
like I was watching one of Ember Lee's
Mhm.
TikToks today and she's talking, but then you've got voice boxes of what she's saying coming up too.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like reinforcing, I guess, kind of what she's saying. And then there's a little more to do than just watch that background video too.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I do that manually, Brenda. I just wanted to add, I've been doing that all myself, whether
Okay.
or not I should be. That's just kind of like what has made sense for me.
I
So
thought yours looked really good because it didn't have every single word. It just had the most important sentences. You know what I mean? So if you're like, so
yeah.
anyway, this is really the best thing ever, you don't have to include every single word if you're doing it yourself.
Yeah, I've been kind of like reducing it a little bit.
Right.
But I'll like do the voice text to create that text as I'm making those little caption blocks. Just to make it a little bit easier because I hate like typing so much into my phone.
Yeah.
And so when I do that, I'll just kind of like condense the message.
Okay.
I don't know if it is a great, the question you asked was actually one that I had because I wondered if I could get away with just like posting the videos on TikTok without adding those caption blocks, but it sounds like I should keep doing that.
I think
So.
in some instances, if you
Mhm.
have a video that's pretty like satisfying to watch, like the packing videos are pretty satisfying to watch, like you can probably just get away with not doing text overlay. But I mean, it also depends on like what's working for you the best. Like if it is working best to do a voiceover and text overlay with the video, then I would keep doing that. But you can also test a lot of different things to see. So
Mhm.
I'm also always thinking about accessibility and the fact that if you have the text and the voiceover, you're making it accessible to more people. Some people are watching their phone on mute for whatever reason. Maybe they're
Vast majority are.
or something.
mhm.
So then if you have the words on there too, you're communicating with them still.
Yeah. Yeah, vast majority of people are watching it on mute. That's smart.
I have a kind of weird question. So, do you guys have like do you know anybody, have anybody, or that kind of would just like go through like the stores can kind of get a little out of hand and like there's a lot of places for mistakes to hide. Is there like anybody that you could be like, hey, I would like to hire you to go through and make sure that I'm not missing, like that I didn't like just a fine tooth comb person or something.
Mhm.
I don't know whether you guys like have anybody that is like, oh yeah, this person does that, or I
Yeah,
don't
I
know. I'm
mean,
like,
yeah, we used to have someone that we would build Shopify stores out for people, for
mm-hmm.
authors. And so we have someone that is very, very well equipped to go through stores and double check everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great to just because now it seems like it's gotten they're complicated enough that I'm like, I spot check things and every now and then I find something and then I'm just like, I don't have like 2 hours to go through this thing and
Yeah.
find all of it. So yeah, I don't know if you like don't mind either posting that or giving me the contact in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
chat
definitely.
or emailing it to me afterwards or something. That'd be, I mean, better
Mhm.
to probably have a store that is like working effectively and not, you know,
Yeah.
just like
No,
a
I can definitely
sieve
send it
for
over.
customers. But
Mhm. Yeah, it's smart. Yeah, it can be a lot when you have the two, but obviously it makes up for it in the sales.
yeah, I'm like crossing all my fingers and toes on that. I actually got sales today,
I was
So I
gonna
was
say,
very
yeah, how's
excited
that
about that.
campaign going?
I mean, it's like, well, I don't know how it's like. So we did it for $100, I think
Mhm.
was the start, and it's all right, let's see. And 275.40 in sales today. So like,
Nice.
yes, so I was like, go over 100, go.
It's well over
I
100. That's
I know,
awesome.
I was super excited to see that. So that was nice. And nobody has reached out to tell me that like anything is super wrong with it yet. So I mean, it's
Mm.
either coming tonight or or maybe it was done right. I don't know. I'm hopeful.
No, I'm pretty sure
But
everything's
again, it's
good.
just like all that stuff in so many places, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I think I got it, but I don't know. But
Well, that's great. That'll
I
be a
do.
fun campaign to scale.
I know. I'm looking forward to it. I do like if we wait till everybody else has like done their questions and stuff, but if possible, if you've got a second at the end, if you could look at the existing campaign, because
Mhm.
the 7-day stuff, those prices are getting higher, and so I'm not sure if like maybe we should turn something off or lower the price again on the international ones in particular, but just like I can wait till the end and see if there's time,
Yeah, we can
and if
definitely
not,
lower the
like
budget there.
email you something.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, did anyone else have any other questions going through accounts, ads, anything? Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Um, sorry for the chaos in my video. My children are going to basketball. So I have been wondering if there's like any effect on the Facebook ads that we're running right now
Mhm.
in relation to like other Amazon activity going on, because I just ran a free promo
Mhm.
and I have been getting tons of traffic on Amazon. I hit #1 in the free store
That's awesome.
yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if there's like a synergistic effect with the
Uh-huh.
Facebook ads that we're running and something like that.
Something like the free promo.
Yeah, like just from all the traffic, like going to my books, like is there some crossover from like all those people that have been finding my books over there? Like, are
Yeah,
they going to start seeing my ads?
not necessarily. The only way that they would, like if someone starts saying like whatever your pen name is out loud and their phone can hear and they're on Instagram, then yes, likely. But if they're not being tracked by anything like on the site, then not necessarily. But the more that they're looking you up, they will start getting your ads. It's not 100% just because of like how Facebook does their tracking and like search, like seeing what people are searching up. But it definitely will bring a lot more eyes to your books. And especially the ads that we're running are going to bring more people into your funnel, which will then boost your free funnel too.
Right. Yeah. I was just wondering because I didn't even think about this until yesterday when I realized like how many, people were interacting with
Impressions.
my Amazon
Mhm.
page. And I just wondered if that like would help the ads at all. But
Yeah, I mean, typically, like for Amazon sales, it's always whenever we launch up the offer, it's always like between 20 to 50% of whatever we're spending on Facebook, we're going to get on Amazon per day,
right.
if not more. Um, so I would say that's probably built into the free funnel. I just couldn't see it being the other way around though, in terms of that bringing people in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is like the same thing, except I'm gonna ask it in a much dumber way. So I make sure I understand. Does Facebook only know what we
Mhm.
do on Facebook and track what we do on Facebook? Or does Facebook know that I have a Kindle app on my phone and I open it and that I like to shop for romance books on Amazon? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So they, yeah, it's kind of hard to answer in like one sentence. They know pretty much everything. Um,
Okay.
they have so every single website, it's so important to like remember this when launching ads, is that every single website has a Facebook pixel on it if they're running ads, which most shops are. So Facebook not only knows what you're doing on these sites, but it knows the purchase intent and knows how much you're spending on these sites. That's
Oh.
how, when you launch an ad up and it has zero targeting, Facebook knows exactly who's going to buy, how much it's going to cost them, like depending on the content that you launch up, obviously, in terms of like how much you can hook the audience and sell them, but they know everything.
And that's not just based on your Facebook activity. Facebook's not just saying, hey, Brenda likes E.L. James's page and she likes all
Mhm.
these book blogs. So she's
Also
like,
based off all that too.
it's based on
all of
external
it.
things that
Yep.
Facebook does. Okay, that's good. I mean, it's probably not good for humanity, but it's good for my business.
Yeah.
So I approve.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can see every single, like all your activity of other pixels on other websites if
Mhm.
they have a pixel.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which that's so much stronger data than just saying, because before it used to be, oh, this person likes E.L. James, let's target E.L. James, and then there you go. But now they could be saying like, oh, I don't like E.L. James, you're in the E.L. James audience now. But
So is it like,
Mhm.
hey, this person bought Marilyn Kelly's box set of hockey romance direct from her store.
Yep.
Maybe this person would want to buy Brenda Rothert's.
100%, 100%,
Okay, wow, that's
exactly how it does it.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's the
they
data
can
that
even
it can see. Mhm.
Yeah, they can even see like which users on the platform buy more and which ones are likely to buy
Mhm.
more. So, and which ones are more likely to just add to cart but never really buy.
And which ones are like buying nothing because say they're
Click
afraid
ads.
to read a book that
Mhm.
way.
Link click ads.
Yep.
That's typically traffic ads. It's just the
Mhm.
people that like to click.
Okay,
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, Facebook will give you what you pay for. Like if you pay for engagement ads, you're just going to get engagement and nothing else.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a great question though. It's not a dumb question. No.
Well, I tend to ask it in like the most second grade way possible.
Yeah, it's understand that Facebook can see all the other pixel data. And just like your example of like it bought a book similar. Now that's why the more authors that get into direct sales, the better results can be for everyone, because they start to see, oh, this person buys this type of book or this type of book or this type of book, and starts clumping them into categories, because the more competitors there are in a market, typically up until a point, everyone's going to do better.
Right.
Yeah.
And it becomes, like you said, it just becomes more mainstream. Like
Yes.
people start telling their reader friends, hey, I just buy my books direct
Exactly.
from authors, and then more people will be willing to try it.
Yep. Exactly. And BookFunnel, I mean, they're building so much trust because BookFunnel's been so great with support, and the whole experience for readers too has been good. Like all the authors doing their best to just make sure that support is up. And so, yeah, the more that happens, the more it's going to build an audience for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like, I know that sharing audiences is a really common thing in the past, sharing Facebook audiences between business managers. And that's just the type of thing where like Facebook already knows that, and they're just going to charge you more if you're going to try to do that. Like if you try to put the audience in, and then eventually it'll start to, if it can't break out of that audience, it'll start to just repeatedly target those same people. And then your quality score goes down, and then it costs more to advertise. That's why just leaving it open and letting that pixel data do all the heavy lifting is going to be the best. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any other questions? Anything? Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a question. So I've just recently turned on Canada to sell to Canada and am running ads there. And I used geolocation or one of those apps to turn off Saskatchewan and Manitoba because it has a zero tax threshold.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was doing it, I realized that means that if anyone tries to come to my website that buys on Amazon or elsewhere, they'll get a no, sorry, you can't come kind of thing,
Yeah.
because I've made my shop my website.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's the best practice or whether I should actually have the shop separate to my website.
You're talking about your TikTok shop too?
I haven't
Oh,
set
your
up
shop and
TikTok
your
yet.
website. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Your previous website.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, from what we've seen in terms of like the authors that are able to scale the furthest, we haven't cut out Saskatchewan or Manitoba.
Mhm.
You could exclude it though from, you could target Canada, exclude those two locations, and then you just wouldn't have to deal with it.
That's what I've been doing on the ads, but then I've also excluded it in the app. So that's why I wasn't sure whether I needed to have two separate sites, one for my website that everyone who reads me, no matter where they read me, can find me, and then the Shopify store.
As long as you're excluding it in the audience, I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, because that I just wouldn't worry about that. You can make a lot more just by focusing on the ads and other countries, I would say. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the whole Manitoba thing. Saskatchewan too. I know a lot of authors that just target it because it's kind of one of those things in the tax video where it's like they're not gonna do anything. But it's obviously personal preference. If you have a tax advisor, definitely listen to them. Don't listen to me with taxes.
Yeah, I haven't found one yet. I'll have to do
Yeah.
that.
Cool. No, it's a great question. Yeah. Anyone else want to have any other questions, or Mary, did you want to go through that?
Yeah, if you don't mind
Yeah, let's
just
take a look.
taking a little look at it
Mhm.
here. Let me get my screen share thing. Okay, hold on. Let's share. Okay. And go to the-
Cool.
Okay. So go.
Just wanted to take a quick look. Yeah, this is a great example too, in terms of when you first launch up, this is a brand new pixel, zero targeting at all. And it's just the actual ads. You can see the CPM is really, really high initially when we first launched these because it knows who is going to buy. You can see the cost per click is super low. So it's only reached 570 people and it's got 73 of them to click because it already knows who to target. Now, what we'll typically see is that the CPM over time, like over a week, will probably get down to like 40 or 50, and typically want to get to like that $25 range, which it'll probably get there. It'll just take a little bit of time. But yeah, that's just a prime example of it knows who to target because it's seen pixel data of people that have purchased books similar to this. So it knows to target them. And if you can just be as good or better than those other books they've seen, there's your sale right there. Yeah, it does look like that text was the top one. It's great.
I know, like, I can never trust it on the like 1 day thing because it's always just like all over the place, but it'll be like, and then I'll never show it again. So I've been trying not to like look too much because I
Smart.
like my
Yeah.
instinct is to stalk it every hour.
Yeah.
like no, be good. You can see that you have some sales here. It's gonna be
Yeah, I mean,
just
like
leave it.
this is it's a great sign that this is the second day it's been live and you already gotten 10. It means that early audience, you're easily able to convince that early audience as we let it continue to run, it should be able to find new people, which is great.
But I feel like the like more tries we have with like trying to like perfect what what's catching attention, it'll be like good practice for me. It's like a muscle that I don't have like a crazy ton of experience with, so like using, so hopefully it'll just kind of
Yeah,
get better
exactly.
with that stuff. But yeah, these ones are like not the international ones, which at the beginning were doing better than I thought at the beginning we're doing better than the US ones. They seem like they're just kind of getting a little higher in the cost
Yeah.
per result. So
That's been my experience recently too, Mira.
Yeah, that with
Like
the international ones just suddenly like,
Yeah, I made so much more money on international in February. At least I think I did. Sometimes I say something like that and Ella will
no,
click
you
on
and me
something
both.
and be like,
Yeah.
no, actually, that's not true.
I
But
I think
anecdotally,
Cameron's had some
feel,
unfortunate experience with that where I'm like, no, it's this. And he's like, okay.
I know this morning I was like, I think we're gonna need to turn this ad off. And Ella's like, actually, that's the best performing one. And I was like, oh, good thing you're here.
Yeah.
But I feel like my international ad in the past couple of weeks has just been a little more lukewarm overall.
Yeah. 14 to 7. Yeah, it looks like once we're trying to push past that 400 range,
Yeah.
so to go up, because this one actually, our previous international, when we
Uh-huh.
dropped the budget, it actually came down from, it was at 28. This one was at 15.
Okay.
And so we're going to keep this one down at that 350 range because it dropped down from 28 down to 22. And then
Okay.
this one shot up. It also is, it's good to see that if we're looking at your overall for just international, because these are the ones that are going to overlap. There's going to be some overlap. Your
Okay.
average was 24. And your average before was also 24.
Okay.
So that's what that tells me, is that, yeah, like if we look at the week before, we were spending 35. So we didn't necessarily, nothing negative happened. It just shifted to where a lot more people that it's tracking the sales from is from this campaign.
Okay.
And this, it's pushing this one up. So what I would recommend is just to drop the budget on here. Keep the budget here because we just dropped it.
Okay.
Because your average is still staying really steady. And what I would do, because we just launched up that other campaign for your second store, is I would, if we can structure out a campaign for secret the same way that we did for this one.
So you want like one scene with like kind of 3 different tones, or do you want me to pick 3 different scenes that are, what's your,
Yeah, the way that we did it yesterday,
it was all kind of the same. It was like it was the same scene, it was the same lead up,
yeah,
but it was told in like in varying kind of, intensities, or like,
yeah, because you said this was your favorite scene, right?
yeah,
Or whatever
I
the
know
sister,
this
right?
is the
So it's
one. It's
hard,
like
yeah.
trying to do this on something that is like 2 favorite chapters that I ever wrote
Yeah.
ever in like 2014, and trying to like, I'm like, every time I'm trying to explain it to him, I feel like, just shush, Mira, you don't need to keep telling him that you love the scene, but like, it's,
That's great.
it's
People
so
love it too.
hard to
It's
narrow
obvious.
it
Yeah.
down. It's
What I
so
would
hard to
do,
narrow it down.
yeah, I would find, if you have one that's really good and that you can create a couple like iterations off of it. So it's different enough, because then we still want to make the hook variations.
Right.
If you can do that, then I would just keep it similar and just do the iteration.
Try to do, if I can do it with one scene, I will. Okay.
Yep.
And we
If
just
not,
want the
it's fine.
like 5 versions.
Yeah, and typically we can do that on the call. I would just worry about the
Okay.
copy and the images and videos.
Okay, so what I would do before the call then is you'd like to see another scene with, maybe I'm confused. Do you want me to add it to what's in here, or do you want me to just get it ready for like next, whenever it is?
Yeah,
Like,
next, I think it's Wednesday, and then we can
okay.
launch it up then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just go ahead and get the copy ready, and then same thing with like the videos, and same structure of collecting the stuff, 3 and 3, or 18 guys and 3 videos.
Yes, it'll be, yeah, so two videos and 2 images for each
Okay.
ad copy. Mhm.
2 videos and 2 images, each ad copy. Okay. Okay,
And then, yeah, we go ahead and launch that up.
okay.
And then I would go ahead and publish this today. Yeah, because we're at a cap right now, is what we're seeing, which is fine. Gotta run, see him. Cool. See you in a minute. Yeah, we're just at a cap right now, which is totally fine. We just gotta create something new to get past that.
Okay.
Mhm.
And I got a big box of books that came in today.
Nice.
So should I start doing the TikToks again then?
Yes,
All right.
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely would, because we can launch those up alongside some of these as well in that same campaign if we have them.
Okay. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how they go. Brenda, I have to
Cool.
stalk you for for how to do that little foldy thing about, you see you have like an instructional on it, and I got like so much junk for like making these things, and then I was like, oh my God, you don't know what you're doing.
I
I'm
don't
like,
know what I'm doing either. I'm just
yours
doing
was
the best I
good.
can. Yeah, but you know
No,
what? I had somebody come back and buy a second blind date with a book from me, and I've had another customer buy 2 in one purchase. So
I love that. I love
just-
that.
yeah, you just got to make it pretty enough.
And then you
Awesome.
have to keep track of what was in the one that you sold to
For
someone.
real. I thought of that.
Cannot just be, yeah, I'm like, it cannot just be like, oh,
Yeah, I'm like,
from
good
this
thing I
pile of,
remember.
could be anything.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah, that's like actually been on my list, is to like stalk you for the like how to on that folding thing.
All I did is Google like how to gift wrap a book. And there was this
Oh,
really great tutorial that came up from a professional gift wrapper.
That's
oh my
helpful.
goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll Google it.
The pockets to put stickers in are essential.
All
That's
right.
cool.
Well,
That's awesome. Yeah, anyone else have any other questions? Anything else you want to go through? Covered everything. Yeah, it was a good call. Got a lot about ad copy, a lot about stores and everything like that. Ads. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, if no one else has any more questions, I can go ahead and drop this call in the folder, and then we'll catch everyone on the next one-on-one call. Cool.
fantastic.
Awesome. You have a
Thank
great rest of your
you.
week.
Bye, y'all.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.